There's a simple story about the part Enclosures of New Athens, which it's an extension of a longer-term project, or it's basically a prologue to a longer-term project called Glossary of Subsumption. And this is an extension from an older project, Post Media Lab, which looked into ways power restructures itself under new conditions, and we try to collectively find new descriptions for these new spaces of power. And then we were invited to Athens, to the New Babylon concept, and it was quite obvious that it's an interesting idea and challenge to try to map these questions of spaces of power onto an urban space. And as the background of all of this was the utopian concept of Constant and kind of a liberated city and its structures, we also felt it fits very much in respect that we don't start from the assumption of liberated space per se or from utopian ideas, but we start from trying to feel out, to map out, to conceptualize what actually restrains people, groups, agents in this city from moving free, from collectivizing free.
Well, from the practical side, for the open networking workshop, it was really about the participants to get engaged more or less with the open wireless network, with the thought of open wireless networking and tools which exist around any kind of open wireless networks. We had the Athens Open Wireless Network joining us here. We actually set up also a note. It's a bit difficult to work with the Athens Open Wireless Network in the scope as we have been doing at Resync in Germany, as we usually did work on the street level, so to say. Here we had, of course, the problem that the street level is non-existent, as the whole network is actually operating on the roofs. So we actually had to...
Over the heads.
Over the heads, so to say. So we had to work out a way of how to visualize or conceptualize, if you want to say so, also on a practical level, this Athens Wireless Metropolitan Network. It was quite interesting, discussed how actually also wireless communication in that sense breaks through or is not even accounted for. But I think also we need to be aware that we're discussing here a certain form of commons. So that we actually really want the participants to be aware of that this can be something they can use for their future communications, that this is something we should actually really be aware of. We're not practicing it. Most of us do use mobile phones and actually are in that sense lazy enough.
Well, we're enjoying the benefits of that, that commercial revolution that swept the whole world. We're hardly alone in that.
Yeah, but in a sense, we can then also get critical with it to say, like, okay, we really are at the hands of those few
providers.
Yeah, exactly. And in that sense, Athens Metropolitan Wireless Network is in itself a commons which is generated here.
I think the overall mood in the groups was that I experienced was very kind of holistically optimistic, dynamic, and forward-looking. And it reminds me just one thing that I really learned here, and I was impressed by that two people, we made this sightseeing before we started the workshop, and one woman there, as well as one of the participants, they said they're basically having backgrounds in US art contexts or in English research contexts, and they consciously came to Athens, and they kind of cut their ties in a way, but not in any kind of melancholic way. I met someone who said, "Oh, I'm stuck in Athens, but I'm happy." It was also something very kind of wow. But they said they are totally positive and sure that in Athens something is happening that is important, and that a lot of content in forms of new ideas and contexts are created and tested here, and that this will be defining future trajectories also for other parts and sectors. And I have felt a little bit of that, and I am very happy that I could participate in that, and that kind of I could receive this kind of knowledge and perspective, because I think there's a lot of truth to it.